Good evening, everyone. How are we this evening? Can you please let me know if my microphone is working? Cause I just don't trust them nowadays. Hope you're all having a good Sunday evening. Who've we got here? We've got Ashley and Willow and Alan and Joe. Good evening, everyone. Nice to have you here. I take it you can all hear me. I'm presuming I've got a delay on the comments or something. So, yeah, what a weekend it's been. Oh, good. So we're all here. Oh, hello, Ben and Patrick. Thank you. Yeah, what a weekend. Goodness gracious. Saturday, it's hot, hot, hot. Yes, it was very hot. I went with my friend Hazel to Cultibragan Camp up in Comrie, which is the old prisoner of war camp, army trader camp, etc., etc. Army training. Goodness gracious me, training camp. We went there on Saturday morning. Evening, Grecki. Hello, Susan. Um, so we went up there and we had a bit look around. Um, her father was in the services during the war, so it was nice to go up with her, and we managed to speak to this lovely man in the museum called Bob, and he was able to help fill in some gaps for her, so it was lovely. Evening, Mary, nice to see you. So we did that. We went for lunch and did some girly chat and stuff. And then we toddled back here. I put the kettle on. My friend had a bottle of juice. And then Patrick phoned. Said, "Where are you?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm at home." Why? Because he came round the roundabout and the gear lever fell off his bike. So he was going to go and find it at that time. So, yeah. Then we went and we sat because the RAC people said that someone would be there in like 40 minutes. So we went through and sat there. And then we phoned the guy with the number and he's like, "I don't know what you're talking about." So I took Patrick home and then I came home. I was exhausted, as you may have seen. But today has been fabulous. I made strawberry jam. Patrick came through and did stuff on the bike. Kathleen took stuff up to the skip. All in all, it's been a good day. So quite a constructive weekend. HM, good evening. Nice to have you here. Willow borrowed a big book about foraging. Nice. I only particularly forage now for comfrey and rose hips because the mushrooms, we have a guy at work that knows mushrooms and has done for years. So we just get him to do it because, you just don't do mushrooms unless you know mushrooms. That's just, I am way too unlucky to be even thinking about something like that. But then as you saw, if you saw the earlier video, I was reading some of the news and saw some stuff about the food banks, and that made me cross. So I did a video because really, berries. Yeah, we don't have berries. I'm really, really upset about the berries. We've got blackberries growing down at work, and I swear they've got like 2 bubbles. That's it. They're not like proper berries at all. Evening, Alan. Evening, Avril. Vicky, good evening. Oh, Mary, I love mushrooms too. I have got the guy we know that does the foraging. He brought so many mushrooms back last year, and some I quite like fried, and other ones are just too slimy when they're fried. So I made them into powder. Yes, that is exactly what Grumpy Scottish Karen does when she's wound up. She makes a video. And, when I find something out that I think everyone should know, because it's so difficult to find things out just now, because I think a lot of the news and the politics and everything is directing us to look in certain directions so that we don't look in other directions. And that just irks me quite a lot. So yeah, if I see things like that, Grumpy Scottish Karen comes and makes a video. Evening, Alabama Whitman. Sarah, good evening. Vicky, oh, you're with Kathleen then. She's yucky mushrooms. One of the other things Patrick noticed today, when the Chancellor was on Laura Kussberg, or whatever her name is, on BBC, and he said, go and have a look at it, because he said a couple of times, face-to-face learning. They are going to try and keep face-to-face learning as much as possible. Evening, Wanda. Evening, Jess. Yes, that one, Willow. Thank you. So yeah, the Chancellor had said a couple of times, because obviously they were talking about the schools and the concrete and stuff like that. And it came up with we're going to try and keep face-to-face learning. And as Patrick said, that's a good wee soundbite. When did that come into our language? Face-to-face learning. Even through the pandemic, when we had lockdowns and stuff, it was the kids were at school, or they were doing online learning, or they were going back to school. So there's a new catchphrase now, face-to-face learning. So we'll see how often that starts showing its head in conversations. Yeah, Digby, dead cat fairy. I totally agree with you. Mary, I think you're right. It is, especially when I see some of the things that I get grumpy about. And there's so many people from all over the world in different places, Canada, America, etc., are saying it's exactly the same here. Vicky, yes, I did see that about another variant. It seems to be rearing its head. And I know that a friend of mine, young Tracy, Patrick's daughter, she caught COVID, and she said it was like being hit with a bus. She's had it this week, just past. So yeah, there is definitely some COVID going about, but we shall see. Another new one is wildfires used to be forest fires. Good point, Ben. Good point. See, I hate when people change words. I'm a very wordy person. So yeah, I don't like it when people change things. Good to know, Willow. Because post-pandemic, it's much more common for kids to do online learning when they're off sick now. Could be. Yes, Alan, I have done Zoom. I try and avoid it at work if I can, but yes, I do that. Careful about foraging books. Yeah, Susan, I read that as well. The see, that's going to be a big thing, because on like Fiverr, people are advertising. People are looking for people to write books, and a lot of it's just AI. It was unreasonable because it assumes that other adults in your household have the same goals as you do. Thank you, Cameron. I agree. Alabama, words are matched. I love words. That's my thing. I used to do it with Kathleen's friends when they were just at the tail end of school. And if they needed anything official, I was the one. And Kathleen's very good with words as well. Her friend was leaving work, and he's like, I need a resignation letter. How long will it take you? She's like, 5 minutes. And he was astonished, because some people are practical. I am not. Some people are words. I am. Some people are numbers. I can just about do numbers if I have to. I don't like it though. Avril, all done deliberately. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Richard May became highly recommended by humans. Yeah, recommended by humans is good. Yeah, Vicky, I agree. I don't know if you remember, Mandy and I both caught COVID earlier this year, and we were both off work, and we never go off work together, like, ever. And I mean, I think it was the second time I'd caught it, and I was complete mince, and I was in my bed. Patrick came through to help. Kathleen came through to help. Ben but I seriously, that was bad. And Mandy tried to go into work and she had to take time off as well. And Tracy had it, I think, once and she was all right. But she said this week, it was seriously bad. So, yeah. Facebook group called Simple Frugal Life. Good. We like that. Good evening, Chris. Nice to see you. Yeah, well, a good couple of weeks I was like that as well. I mean, I crawled into work after the first week, but nobody was expecting much out of me. Good with numbers on Countdown. Well done, Alan. I am not overly good with the numbers on Countdown, I have to say. Mandy, yep, that was about me earlier in the year. That was my third COVID, and I was in bed for like 5 days. I just was dreadful. Wasn't particularly eating, would drink tea sometimes. I had water beside me to make sure I was hydrated. It was awful. So yeah, I mean, I think there possibly is a new variant going about. Will it entail a lockdown? Who knows? As we were saying earlier, there's just so much going on to distract us from other things that are going on that I'm really getting quite suspicious nowadays. I have to say, I'm starting to be a bit more conscious about things. Even major partnership. Yeah, that used to be our thing with my dad. My dad never got sick. I had him. I think he caught the flu twice in my whole lifetime that I was old enough to remember, and it floored him, like proper floored him. Everything else he was able to battle through. So he was always our guideline of if it's a bad flu going, if dad catches it, then it's going to knock us on our back ends. Obviously, I don't have dad anymore, so now I'm the barometer. If I end up in my bed, then it's not good. So that's normally when Kathleen sort of, hands me things from a distance and says, I'm going. I'll come back soon and check on you. Because it's one of those things. You want to help your friends and family, but if you catch it, you're no good to man their beast. So you have to try and look after each other. Mary, there's just sometimes you just have to, if that's the way you're going, that's the way you're going. I mean, I had the vaccinations because I wouldn't have been able to visit my parents without them. They were both in care homes. I had to be vaccinated. So that was the one. I've had 3. Mandy had 2. She didn't want the third one. She didn't need it. So, but yeah, I'd think at the moment there is definitely another variant going about. But the main thing I'm thinking is if somebody we know catches it, we just avoid them as much as possible. Put little care baskets at the door and things and make sure they're okay. But there's no point in stuff. No point in us doing that because it's just one of those things. Willow, if your immune system is pretty battered, then you take care. Good evening, decluttering queen. Nice to see you. When Kat was ill when she was young, she had no immune system. She had leukemia, so she had chemotherapy. And I mean, she wasn't allowed anywhere. I would not let her anywhere at all. As she got that bit older, because it was 2 years of treatment, and I was like, well, you have to let her out. And what we did, there was this little shop at the bottom of the town run by 2 wee old women. Evening, Slim. Evening, Lana. Oh, feeding the foxes. We like that. But what I used to do is I used to drive the car up and wait until the shop was empty because it was a really quiet shop. It was mainly the workies went in the mornings for their sandwiches and bacon rolls, and then they went in at lunchtime. So if I went up at about 11 o'clock, the shop would be empty. So I could take Kathleen in, and that let her socialise, it let her speak to people, but it meant that we weren't with people, which was good. So yeah, if your immune system's a bit battered, then you definitely take care. We like foxes. Patrick used to have foxes outside his flat in London. I used to stand out in the balcony and watch them. Thank you, Dave. Lana's in Scotland with the foxes. See, my foxes were in London. And weirdly enough, foxes make a funny noise. It's not something I knew until I was at Patrick's and I nearly had heart failure. And I definitely don't have foxes round about here because I would recognise the noise now. Oh, tell you what I do have. I was out last night. I got some wood from work when Patrick was trying to fix his gear stick. And I went to go and put the wood in the wood pile, and this little black frog climbed up the wood. I have no water near me, but I have a little black frog in the wood pile. I'm very confused about that. So I just stacked the wood at the other side so that I didn't hurt it. So yeah. Good evening, Alison. Nice to see you. Sure it wasn't a toad. I don't know, Willow. It was a little black thing that looked like a frog. Frog, toad, who knows? Oh, Digby, yeah, I bet that. That's not good. Definitely not at 2 o'clock in the morning, mate. Husband ended up with sepsis. Oh, that's not good. Oh, in the log pile, it's more likely a toad. Okay, so hopefully we get little black toads. Good evening, Slim. Not sure if I'd said good evening to you. I think I might have missed you. Jess, 44, and if they aren't dropping, people certainly have got a lot of health issues since taking it. Yeah, we're having that discussion as well just now. Joe, good evening. Nice to see you. We're just talking about whether a little black thing in my wood pile is a toad or a frog. I'm not sure, but it definitely moves like one of them. So I was very good and I put the wood to the other place. Good evening, Prepper Mummy. How are you? Oh, Joe, so seems to be carried unanimously. It's a toad. All right, it's a small black toad then. It's in my wood pile. So I was very nice to it and just left it alone in its little side. So one side of my wood pile stocked up and the other side's about 2 foot off the ground because there's a little toad in there. And you have to do that. And that's one of the things I'm doing. Good evening, baby. The Hello Mother is from, if you don't know, Not So Young and Scottish is my daughter Kathleen. And normally if she phones, I go, child of mine. And she answers, mother of mine. So hence the hello, mother. Glad you're not there. Well, you wouldn't be in the wood pile anyway, would you? Dear, oh dear. See, yeah, I don't know if I don't know why I've got a toad in my garden. Evening, Charlotte. Nice to see you. Baby told her they'd been hiding from the heat and the wind. I said, oh, yeah. Good plan. Marie Lama, hello from Michigan. Nice. Mum's Homestead. Good evening. Nice to see you. Yes, Sunday nights, 8:30, I will normally do a live. Okay, now I think it's Rasheen's place. Is that how you pronounce your name, Rasheen? Yep, completely floored you. Yeah. No, but I would shout you to get it out and cause there's a river at the bottom of the field. Yeah, true. Good point. But if it was a spider child, you would yell on me to get it out. Amanda Jane, good evening. Oh, Rasheen, I'm so glad I said your name right. Yay me. What was the other one I used to get? There was a lady I worked with. Her name was Grania. And it was Grainne. And I was like, Grainy? Graina? And it turns out it was Gronya. So I really hate getting people's names wrong. So good evening, Roisin. Did I get my fibre? No, I haven't, because between running to go and get Patrick and then making jam this morning, I want to have enough time to do it. So I'm still hoping Patrick will help me take it down to the caravan. You know, where I can put water on the deck and everything, and it'll not do anything. That hopefully, yeah, spiders, actual tears for the child, I have to say. Dominique, good evening. Carol, good evening. Cherish the toad, he will grow and eat your slugs. Oh, perfect. Cheryl, I really need that. That toad is now protected species. Patrick, really? I need to take the fibre For people who don't know, I got a fleece from a local farmer. Well, I got two actually, and they're sitting in my kitchen in poly bags just now. And to make a rug, you have to like wash it and squish it and felt it and do stuff. And I want to take it down to the caravan because we've got a table on the balcony, so I could just pour water on and it won't make a mess. But Patrick doesn't want the fleece in his car. I'm quite sad about that. So I'll just need to make a house in make a place in the house for it somewhere. So yeah, that will be a video soon. Work with a Gronya, your Dublin office. Yay! Watch for the no. Don't say that, because if he comes into the house, he'll like dehydrate or something. Oh yeah. Can't you put the fleece into a sealed bin bag or something for the journey? See, Patrick, I could do that. I could have the fleece in a sealed bin bag and tape it up and everything. And then we'll just take it out and put it on the table. See, I think that's a fabulous idea, personally. The other thing just now, who was it? Someone on comments had said that someone has said they were looking at someone's channel and said there's going to be a problem with electricity this year in the winter. So I hope we all have candles and wind-up lamps and stuff and things, because that's going to be a bit of a problem if we're not prepared. As I say, we've got the basket. I will do the basket. I'll do a video about the basket soon, just in case. Yes, Kathleen's YouTube channel is Not So Young and Scottish. The folk come into her kitchen. It was hard to get back out of the house. It's just jumping everywhere. No, don't. No, we're not doing jumping. Not just electricity, gas, and food. Dave, I'm trying to be positive here. Come on. But yes, let's not forget. I think now, and I think as well as Jane said on Frugal Queen in France, start getting your Christmas stuff now, because it's not, it's going to be more difficult to find that sort of money if inflation doesn't go down very much. So you want to start be getting anything you're wanting for the winter, start getting it now before people start panic buying. That would be a good plan, I think. Firewood from everywhere, I'm prepped. Yeah, I mean, I'm lucky, Paul. I work with a construction company, and our warehouse is next to a joiner's company who I have already had a discussion with and said, would you mind if any of your wood that you put in the skip that would be good for burning, can I have it? And he's like, oh, yes, please. Because if he's filled up his skip with wood, he has to pay to get that taken away. So if I can lower the amount of wood he's got in his skip, it means he doesn't have to pay for it as often. And the same goes for our company. If I can stop the skip filling up as much or as quickly, then it's it's a good deal for all of us. I don't see much toads. Slim, I don't know what happened to David. The last thing I heard is that he'd shut everything down. Rasheen, any icky bits in the garden? Yeah, that's basically what Patrick wants me to do, but I want to take it down to the caravan to get rid of the icky bits. Pam, good evening from Benbecula again. Nice to see you again. Christmas is the last thing on your mind. Yep, I know, but it's one of those things that, it's going to happen. If we've got to buy for it, we may as well spread it out. Yeah, Paul, that will make a big difference to me. I mean, at the moment, Patrick just cut a whole lot of cladding for me. So that's me got kindling because it burns so fast. But yeah. I've been outside, looked in the mirror, and there was a false widow crawling up my shoulder. Oh, can I just say, if that was Kathleen, I'd have been wakened with the screaming, and she'd have been on my bed, hiding behind me very, very quickly. So, yeah. We've got all the prezzies in the sale at the beginning of the year. Yeah, I'm not that organised. Decluttering. Yeah, I mean, if everyone knows, then why not? You know, it's one of the, my thing is everyone knows I'm not particularly good with small children. I am just like no. So yes, it's just something we've always had. I don't mind this by other bugs. What is this going to their house just another day? Yeah, I'll have to say over the last few years we've basically got to the sorry, Dave's just said put the fleece in the back of the bike with bungees and go for a ride to the van. It's about 2.5 hours on the motorway, Dave. I'm not riding the bike that far. Not just to take the thing down. Yeah. Loves you go. Yeah, my mum and dad used to love us. We would go up Christmas Eve, stay over Christmas Eve. We used to stay in Christmas Day for quite some time, but then it ended up that Doctor Who. So I would come down the road with Kathleen so that we could watch Doctor Who because Dad could not stop himself commenting, and it drove us nuts. So when Kat was a teenager, we would come down back here and watch Doctor Who. Yeah, I think there's a lot of people, as you say, might be boycotting Christmas or making it a lot smaller. Oh, Twisted Willow. I will go and check. Cameron, I would ask Kathleen if she has any tips for a kick up the ass for decluttering. I think possibly it was me. Just before she starts telling me that I was scary. No, the motorbike's not quite sorted yet, but Patrick has ordered a bit. It's here, so well, the bit's not here. The bit's due, I think, on Wednesday, so we're going to get that done. But just before I finish on the Christmas thing, Kathleen and I, 1 year or 2 years, I think, when I was really skint, what we did was we went out and we got pine cones and beech nuts and stuff like that. We got a local joiner to use a planer to make wood curls, and I put food colouring on them, and I got cheap scented oil, and we made papuri and put it in cellophane bags that we got at the cash and carry. And that was what we gave people. And we've also done the dough that you can make yourself that you bake in the oven, and made like little bell shapes and star shapes and gave them out as Christmas presents. And I did the macaroon bars. That there is a video on here of me making macaroon bars, but it's dreadful because I was like hysterical. It's so funny. It's just dreadful. But I made macaroon bars, very squinty macaroon bars, but I made them. But I used to do like macaroon bars, flapjacks, and I think I did peppermint creams. And put them in the little tins you get out of Poundland or something. You get a tin for £1. So we got some of them. So I tried in 616. Nice. What's the deal with boycotting Christmas? Is it no Strum and Ronan? I think it's just the cost. That it's not that we're boycotting Christmas. It's like we're trying to cut the costs down. And as Ben says, it's about who's around the tree, not what's under it. Oh yeah, artists are very good to know. Scrooge. See, yeah, it's good to see other bikers on here. I am a biker. I have my dragster that's very, very beautiful. I do love my bike, I have to say. But yeah, there's things on under £20 each are handmade. There's other people who Patrick was kids get presents until they're 16, then end of. Just little things like that. And as I say, with us, we did a lot of handmade stuff. And I made it with Kathleen. So, like the little bells that we had they had her fingerprints in them and everything. Survival box. I love survival boxes. You do like a Secret Santa. Yep. Yeah. No, there's a lot of good ideas there for saving money at Christmas, which is great. As you say, doing a Secret Santa, doing things like that. The survival boxes, my mum used to do that for me because I just loved it. Basically, because I wanted a Fortnum and Mason hamper. I desperately wanted a Fortnum and Mason hamper because I'd seen it in all these magazines, and they were all so pretty and things like that. And then I looked at the price of the Fortnum and Mason hampers. Have you seen the price of them? Good grief. Digby, good evening. Bye bye. Have a good night. Give the dogs loving from me. Yeah, Fortnum and Mason was just ridiculously, ridiculously expensive. So what my mum used to do is exactly as you said there. She used to get me the big bag and put food in it, put tins and packets, and that would get me through January because it would have the pasta, the sauce, and stuff like that. And I used to love it. Kathleen and I used to love it. We wouldn't look when Mum gave it to us. She wouldn't give us it until we were leaving, and then we'd be sitting in the sitting room at our place going, "What did we get?" And there would be lots of sensible stuff, but there would be like chocolates and sweeties and biscuits and things as well. So that saved us a lot of money in January. So yeah. Good afternoon, Deborah. Nice to see you. Shouting from the rooftop with the pipe. What are you like? Oh, bless. The survival boxes have Easter Bunny kitchen roll in them this year as they were on clearance after Easter. See? That makes perfect sense to me. You buy whatever it is that's on clearance, and especially kitchen roll, that doesn't go off, and it saves a whole lot of money. Yeah, Willow, I agree. I did threaten to make Mandy wrist warmers. However, the fact that the pair that I started making 2 years ago are not finished yet, and Mandy's got like really skinny child-like wrists, and I made them for me, so I can't even use them. And I was like, I'm not even going to tell you I'm getting your wrist warmers because I won't have them made in time. However, today I have been crocheting. I've just lost the hook. Let me just do that. See, I have started another shawl. So that is what I was doing today when I was being restful. Because shawls keep me cozy, and I have two that I wear most of the time that are really quite heavyweight. Joe, did I get the pattern I sent you? No, Joe, where did you send that to? Why do I not have that? I need to go and look for that. Joe, apologies. No, when did you send it? Where did you send it to? Did you send it to the Unit 3? Oh, you commented in one of the videos. In that case, I have probably copied and pasted it somewhere and completely forgotten about it. Apologies. I will go back and look. No, trust me, that shawl has been going on since last year as well. Yeah, just when you're saying that, my friend, when we went out this week, she was like, go and check between Charmin and the Who Gives a Crap, the toilet roll that you get posted to you. So I went on very quickly, and it was, what was it, £10.50 for 12, and then you're getting the home bargain Nikki 32 for £9.50. So that's definitely a shout. Thank you for that, Daniel. Yeah, well, my friend was like, I think it's possibly worth, and I think for 24 rolls of the Who Gives a Crap, it was like £28 or something. And Jackie, yeah, you're absolutely right. I've seen me look at that in the stores. You start looking at how many sheets, and now what some of them are doing is they're saying, oh, it's double length when it's not actually double length. It's a whole lot of numbers in your head when you're trying to buy things like kitchen roll or toilet roll in the shops, because, as Jackie said, it's how many sheets are on a roll. They try and say that it's doubled up, etc. Marianne, thank you. Okay. So they are expensive, but they are so good and last a long time. All right, I shall tell my friend that it's definitely worth a try then. Yeah, well, layers is definitely a good thing as well. Yeah, but it's all different things like that that you need to look at. I mean, I remember Patrick and I looking at, was it tea bags down in London, and the normal Tetley offer wasn't on. So we went, and there was one at the end of the aisle that was like, oh yeah, that's close enough. And then we walked down the aisle, and there was another offer in the middle, because of course the companies like Tetley, they pay to have the end of the aisle. And we went down the aisle, and in the middle of the aisle was actually a better deal. So we put the Tetley back and we got the other one. But it was only when I went down and looked at the label, and it was how much per bag or how much per 100 grams, that I was able to compare it. Quality went downhill. Oh, cheeky wipes. Yep, Lana, the address is on the website. I think it's under the contact us. There's also a page for anything that I've bought, like where I got my canner, where I got my dehydrator. So, yes, the address is on the website. Thank you very much. Quickest way to get in touch with yourself is to use cheap blue paper. Good point, Chris. And absolutely no argument here on that one. Oh, the John Wayne paper at school, that was dreadful. So tender, which is good. Nice to know. See, we like those things. Izal tracing paper. Oh yeah, that tracing paper was dreadful. And it's amazing how you remember those things. You know, like last week we were talking about the cake that you got in the dining centre, the sponge with the sprinkles on the top. And we all remembered that from the dining centre, and the pink custard and stuff. I mean, we still remember that even now, which is ridiculous. Right, let me just take a quick drink. Yeah, I agree with you on that one, Willow. But you see, look at this. We are spending a Sunday evening talking about toilet paper. Who'd have thought this is how you're going to spend a Sunday evening? Oh my goodness gracious. What are we like? But oh yes, as for my strawberry jam, and someone had put a comment today saying just reboil it. I did. It was almost toffee and it still hadn't set, so just no. So it got binned, and my new strawberry jam, which was in the rolling boil in the pot this morning, was fabulous. So I'm really quite pleased with my strawberry jam. Oh, dock leaves. Yep. Remember them well, Ben. Oh dear, oh dear. Coloured or patterned loo rolls. Yep. I remember that you could get the blue and the green and the yellow. So, yeah. What is this with the chocolate bars? Getting so tiny now. What was it we got? Double deckers. Mandy and I, we have a chocolate bar, a chocolate tin in the office, and we refill it when we go shopping. So Mandy had got stuff, and Bossman had got stuff. Well, Boss Lady had got stuff and added it. And there was a whole lot. So we're having a dreadful day. Mandy came up with the chocolate bars, and I was like, double decker. It was like that size. It was tiny. I was not impressed. Oh, oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm awake now. Shrinkflation. Baby Tails, good evening. Nice to see you. And Mike, hi. How are you? Don't you possibly think it's maybe a bit warm for the big log burner? Poor Baby Tails is melting. You don't want her to end up a melted puddle on the floor. Channel 5 programs about supermarkets in the 1970s. No, I didn't get that. Thank you for the bless yous. Sugar tax and everything just made them smaller and dearer. Oh, yeah, good point. Bring back topics. Yeah, Susan, I'm agreeing. The chocolate bars are now the size of the old fun size ones. That is absolutely right. That is what I'm thinking as well. And what's the other one? Kathleen got me a packet of milk chocolate digestive, McVitie's milk chocolate digestives when she was shopping. She's like, got you these as a wee treat. It's like half the size of a normal bar. I don't know what's happened there. Or a normal packet. It was just so small. And she says, yeah, but it was only like whatever it was. Like, yeah. So yes, shrinkflation is a definite battered Mars bar. Actually, Kathleen and Patrick were talking about deep fried Mars bars today, and it's like, okay, so either someone was drunk or stoned and had complete munchies and thought it would be a good plan to have a deep fried Mars bar, but we can't understand where that came from because nobody in their right mind would think a deep fried Mars bar is a good idea. Apart from it sounds like really good comfort food. So yeah, I know that is it Pure Radio? They're deep frying something like every month just now. Some of it is really ridiculous, but it's quite a laugh to watch. You can see that in their Facebook page. Walk home from a nightclub while slightly hammered. Yeah, that was now. What was it? That's what Kathleen said, Ben. What was it? Yeah, I'm in Perthshire, so our chippies have chips. And I remember somebody I worked with from the Glasgow side said, why do you not have fritters? No, what's fritters? Don't understand. No need for them at all. Fritters are the most fabulous thing in the world. They're like thin slices of potato dipped in batter and then fried. I lived in Glasgow for a short time and I tried fritters. And see for Willow, for walking home from a nightclub while slightly hammered, fritters are the absolute bee's knees. Totally. They are fabulous. Fritters are too greasy. But that's the whole point when you're walking home from a nightclub half hammered. Change the advert. Yeah, true. Yep. Fritters are definitely a thing. Oh, thank you, Christopher. That's very kind of you. A wee skinny guy. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Adverts now. You couldn't use the Yorkie advert, could you? You would have to use something else. Spam fritters. Now, I have not tried them, Joe, I have to say. Because the spam fritters that you get in the chippy, our chippies didn't do them. And then when I saw them in the shop, I saw some really, really bad reports about them. So I was like, well, I'm not going to eat them because that's obviously not what proper spam fritters row are. So, yeah. What can I say? Good evening, Death Row to Disney World. Sounds like a plan. Battered Snickers. Oh. See, yep, now we're craving fritters. Yeah. But the thing is, they're so easy, fritters. I mean, batter is just like flour and water or flour and milk and stuffs, and then drop them in fat. or oil or something. I have thrown them together a couple of times. I'm not very good at it, but I have thrown them together a couple of times. Oh, yeah, see, Cameron, I love banana fritters at the Chinese. I really, really like them. Pineapple fritters. Yep, see? Look at this. We've gone from toilet roll to fritters. Oh, dear, oh dear. What can I say? It's just one of those things. Battered Savoloys, it doesn't. Well, do you know, Joe, that's funny because the chippy, our chippies here, I used to work in one, and I remember that the Savoloys were never ever battered. They would batter the sausages and other stuff, but they never ever put batter on the Savoloys. Weird. Okay, dandelion fritters. Confused.com. We just do need them all. Italian fried cheeses. Yep. Chicken Maryland, half banana fritter and a pineapple fritter. Yep, that's what I liked. Oh, pineapple fritters with maple syrup. Nom. Bag of chips in newspaper. Oh, yes. I remember wrapping them in newspaper when I was there. I was doing the, poke chips and on the greaseproof paper, wrap it up in the white sheet and then put it in the newspaper. Yeah, it's probably as well I'm not at Patrick's because he's got a chippy like 3 doors along or something, or just round the corner. And with all this talk of things being battered, I think I would probably finish the live and run down the chippy. Thankfully, I'm a long way from the chippy, so I can't be doing that. Also, the price is quite prohibitive. But yes, chips and newspapers. Yeah, it was. And I remember with the, can you double wrap it because I'm walking all the way down to the other side of the village sort of thing. Definitely tasted better out of newspaper, I agree. And I agree with Ben. Oh, Julie, you're only a little bit late, Julie, but pot roast is much more important. So yeah, please do hit the like button if you're here, guys. That does help the channel. Chip at my mom's place does some mushy pea fritters. Okay, never heard of them. That's quite bad. A couple of months ago, paid over £4 for a What? £4 for a bag of chips? Oh, I need to be making my own chips. That's just ridiculous. Dial a drink delivery. Yep, no, we don't have that either. The only delivery we have here is the local Indian kebab place. It does the thing. It does deliveries, but no, we don't have a dial a drink thing. I'm a deprived child that way. Oh, Willow, giant Yorkshire pudding this week. Well done, you. I haven't made mine again since the last time I videoed it because I'm sure there's a tray in my cupboard somewhere, but I haven't actually found the metal tray rather than the glass one that I used the last time. So if I'm doing it again, I want to make it in a metal tray. Nearly a tenner for a fish supper. Good evening, Charlotte. I appreciate you coming in to say hello. That's nice. Patrick, how much is our fish and chips at our chippy? Jam on cold Yorkshire puds. Oh, I could get that. I would enjoy that. Chips and sausage beans, £10. £19 for two fish suppers. That'll be why Patrick and I, as I say, he's got the chippy just round the corner from him. And it's roughly about the same, I think, for the 2 fish suppers as it is for 2 Chinese. But for the Chinese, we get 2 nights' meals out of that. Whereas the fish suppers, you only get 1 night's meal. And that's why we've taken to having Chinese if we're having a takeaway. we will more often now have Chinese because we don't eat the full Chinese and we will keep half of it for the next day in the fridge. So I either take it with me for lunch or I have it that night for dinner. Midgie from Huddersfield, good evening. Nice to see you. Lana, I am exceptionally jealous. Says me, it's not like I go out to pubs or anything. But dial a drink, I am so jealous about that. Some expensive chippies, yeah. French fry trucks, not allowed anymore. I don't think so. Mobile chippy van that comes round the streets. We didn't have a chippy van that came round the streets. Our town wasn't big enough to make it a thing. And I think in Perth they had chippies out at the various areas. We have them that go round events, but that's about it. We don't really have them in the thing. You get so fat if there was a chippy van. Yeah, so would I. Ronan, yep. Instant Chinese, garlic, spring onions, fresh out, ginger, and soy sauce. We did, what was it Kathleen told me about? Honey and soy sauce. And then you add like your garlic, your spring onions. But I had never done honey and soy sauce, and that was really, really nice. So I've done that a few times. Oh yeah, Central Belt, Lana. I can understand why you have chippy vans. Is it just me, or is it really warm tonight? Yeah, Midgie, I'm not doing silver. I can't do. I know a lot of people are doing silver, and they're saying that it's increased in value, but no. Used to have the fish nan in the car park at a pub, kicking out time, selling cockles, pints of prawns. Oh, yeah, we definitely didn't have that because we're like landlocked, right in the middle of Scotland. So, honey or golden syrup, fish and chips truck here in Idaho. Nice, because I'm hot stuff. At the moment, yes, Lim, I am exceedingly hot stuff because I'm roasting here. I'm melting. Really warm here, not oh good. Well, oh, don't tell me that. I'll melt. Goodness gracious. Tap away, thank you, and good evening. Oh, 19 Florida. Goodness gracious. Oh, sorry, that's where the microphone is. Forewarned is forearmed. Yeah, forewarned, I'm going to melt. July and August were a washout, and September is sunny and warm. Just peaking at 25 and 26 all week. Oh. Melted most of the day inside a marquee. Tomorrow it's meant to be hotter. I mean, it was, what was it, 23 or something when we went up to Cultibragan on Saturday. And we ended up with the AC on in the car, which I don't normally do. I normally just open the window, but no. We couldn't go fast in the car, so. Well done you on being out cutting the grass. That is more than I did. That's because the schools have gone back. You know, that's funny. Patrick and I said that not because of the schools, but when I got my bike MOT'd and stuff, every weekend, do you know, it'd be great through the week, and at the weekend it would be horrible weather. Julie, have I missed some chats? Is your daughter still with you? She's sort of in between here and her boyfriend back and forth. She's not here tonight. Took down my pool last week. Big regret. Bless. Yep. It's one of those things, isn't it? You've had weeks and weeks of horrible weather, and then you're like, right, I'm just going to take it down because it's not going. You know, it's September. So no, it's obviously that was not one of the better ideas, but I can see why you did it. Okay, we are in the last 5 minutes of my live, people. Is there any questions? Anything you want to know? Anything I can help with? Are we all good? Is there anything I should know before next week? 100 degrees in the polytunnel today with both. Oh, Amanda Jane, that's dreadful. I'd need to be walking about with a fan attached to me. Yeah, baby tails, I get that. What do I think of mass immigration? I think there's something they're not telling us. Lana, did I watch the rest of the Blackout film? Yes, I did. Christopher, yes, I have a black cat called Raven. If you look at the community page, you'll see pictures of Raven there. If I freeze blackberry compote, will it become sorbet? Don't think so. Dave, do I have to go? Yes, I do. Death Road to Disney World. Enjoy your week. Thank you. Have I started my political channel yet? No, I haven't. Because it's pretty much head above the parapet once you start. Canning chicken as I just got my new canner. If I find chicken, I will do it. I think it's actually beef I've got here, but it's both the same thing. So, Ben, good evening. I'm doing well. I'm just about to finish this live. Phone lines have switched to internet. Oh, don't even start me on that, Ben. I want my copper wires. I do not want to have that. I need to have internet and electricity to use a phone. Julie, you've got, if you're on bed rest, I think Marianne's doing a live in the next 5-10 minutes. I think she starts actually at 9:30. That is Wallflowers UK. Appalachia's Homestead. Rose Red Homestead. Funky Prepper. That's the ones I watch most of the time. Yeah. Lana, that film, that was what I was going to say. Blackout. Watched it and was like, the one who ended up worst was the prepper. That does not help my brain, thank you. That was not what I was thinking of. No cannibalism, thanks. Coco, hello. Oh yeah, off grid with Duke and Stacey. Right, people, I'm going to go. Have a good evening. Hope you have a good week. I will be back tomorrow. If you haven't hit like, please hit like because it does algorithms and stuff. And in a few weeks, I'll be back down at Kincaidstone and we'll be donating. I'm just waiting to hear about the one that I've been trying to donate to this month. So yeah, if we don't do it before, we'll definitely be doing it in a few weeks. So night night all. Have a good evening.